What is the name of chapter 16? क्या है उसमें? We are under divine nature or demoniac nature? Really? How many of you? Demoniac nature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. How many divine nature? 1. No. 1. Divine devotee mix. 1. He said 1. So we have one person here, divine nature, one person, divine demoniac mix, 18 people fully demoniac. Yes? 19, I also. How many verses are there in this chapter? 24. How many? 24. उसमें से जो फर्स्ट 3 verses है ना, those first 3 verses are about divine nature. Rest of the entire Bhagavad Gita, this chapter, मतलब 24 minus 3 कितना हुआ? 21. Rest of the 21 shlokas are about demoniac nature. So 3 shlokas, how much percentage is that? 324? कितना परसेंट होता? 10%? नहीं, 30 होता तो 10% होता. कितना होता? 12%? 8%? क्या 8 या 12? How much ever? Okay. Is about divine, and the rest of it is about demoniac. What does that say? And that's why Bhagavad Gita is a practical book. Krishna was practically, there are going to be, in a class of 25, there are going to be 19 people who are going to raise their hands and say that, boss, we are demoniac, and therefore let me focus on them. And ये बाकी theory को 3 श्लोक में निपटा दूंगा. So now you should be able to see. Yeah, great. Oh, there's a problem. Now I can't see. Can it be done where I can also see and it can also be seen? Mirror, right? Ah, very nice. Yeah. Right? You can all see? Kartal hai? I have not read 2584 emails. वो जो ब्रैकेट में होता है ना वो अनरेड होता है. So I need help. So any of you really inspired, you can quit your jobs, join full time, and assist us. And the first seva that you will be given is read all these emails and help us reply to them. We have unlimited seva available today for 2.5 hours. I just concluded the call 5 minutes back. For 2.5 hours, I was talking to Sitaram Prabhu about services. So we have unlimited services, unlimited opportunities to spread Krishna consciousness. But our limitations are because we are few people. And if we come on board, then what we are basically doing is we are making ourselves as volunteers in Lord Chaitanya's eyes. We are telling him, I'm ready. And then Lord Chaitanya engages us in service. You know, there is this one very famous podcast. It is called Wisdom of the Sages. It's very popular in America. In America, on Apple, it is the #1 podcast in spirituality section. It is done by 2 devotees, Raghunath and Kaustubh. They both are Americans. So that podcast took off during COVID. And there is one very famous, the world's most famous podcaster, his name is Joe Rogan. You must have heard of him, Joe Rogan. He's got the most number of subscribers of any podcast in the world. Very, very famous. So what happened is, one of these 2 devotees, Raghunath, he was invited by Joe Rogan just before the lockdown on his podcast because he knew him from 20 years back. So he said, 20 years से मैं उससे मिला नहीं था. Suddenly one fine day he messaged me that I want to have a podcast with you. Let's talk about Bhagavad Gita. And I went there, I did the podcast, and the next week COVID happened and the lockdown happened. And then they started their podcast. So what happened was that because he got such huge publicity 1 week before COVID, then when they started their podcast, most people knew about him. And then, their podcast took off. And they only talk about Bhagavatam every day. Their podcast is about Srimad Bhagavatam. Chapter by chapter they discuss. So someone asked him, how did you become popular? He said, that was Lord Chaitanya. 20 years I did not talk to that person. 1 week before COVID, Lord Chaitanya inspires that person to reach out to me. That person happens to be the most famous podcaster in the world. And he samne se reached out to me. We did an episode on Bhagavad Gita and COVID happened. And then we decided to start our own Krishna Conscious podcast and it took off. So when we make ourselves ready to become instruments, that I'll help you answer those emails. That's just a joke, but I'm ready to take on some service. Then you will be pleasantly surprised how Krishna arranges. You will think, मुझे कुछ मैं क्या करूँगा? मुझे तो इतना इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं लग रहा है. कभी-कभी मेरा मन भी भटकता है. And कभी-कभी my old desires come back and this that. We just have to take the step. That, I want to become more serious. Prabhu, you give me 6 hours of service every week. I'll do it. And then you see how Lord Chaitanya makes us instruments in his service. So this is the perfect age, the youth. Before the body becomes useless, and you will be surprised, it will become useless very soon. We all think we are going to live for million years. We all think that we'll remain in our 20s or early 30s for the rest of our lives. Very soon, just like it seems that just few years back, I was in school. Long time. Like that, even this time will go. So we should never have that regret later on in life. अरे यार वो टाइम पे ट्राई करना चाहिए था, थोड़ा और सीरियस होना चाहिए था, क्या पता क्या होता. So should all become willing to do more service at this age of our life. Then Krishna, as Prabhupada says, Krishna feeds the elephant, Krishna feeds the ant. And you think that just because you will take some risk for Krishna, Krishna will forsake you. Krishna will look out for us even more. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari श्री नाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्वशी नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Chapter number 16 Divine and Demoniac Natures. Okay, so we will read the first three verses because they are together. So we'll read the translation, we'll read the Sanskrit, we'll read the translation, and then we'll try and focus on a couple of qualities. These are divine qualities, first three verses. They talk about things that we are not familiar with, that we don't have practical experience of. अपने लिए theory है ये सब. And we will not even be able to cover all the divine qualities today. So we will have this discussion continue next time. And then eventually we'll come to the practical stuff. Krodh, Himsa, anger, greed. Practical. Let's read. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi ज्ञान योग व्यवस्थिति दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च स्वाध्यायस्तप आर्जवम् अहिंसा सत्यमक्रोधः त्याग शान्तिरपैशुनम् दया भूतेष्वलोलुप्त्वम् मार्दवम् ह्रीरचापलम् तेजक्षमा धृति शौचम् अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातस्य भारत. So, the word for word meaning, of course, we know Shri Bhagavan Vacha means the Supreme Personality of Godhead said. You can all see? इसको और sharp कर सकते हैं क्या? इसमें setting है. Who knows how to use a projector? Yeah. In that big square, one of the two is sharpness. No. This is sharpest? Okay. Is this the new one? So, okay. So Abhayam. Abhayam. Fearlessness. Our Prabhupada's name is no Abhay Charanaravinda. AC. AC is Abhay Charanaravinda. Many people after years also they don't know AC का मतलब क्या है. वो AC क्या होता है? पता नहीं. HH. बेटा सन्यासी का HH. क्या है HH? His Holy Name. कई लोगों को पता नहीं होता है. HD निताई जीवन दास के क्लास में आते हैं हम. कौन? HG निताई जीवन दास. कौन है HG? So Abhay Charan means one who is fearless at the charan, at the lotus feet of Krishna. Abhay Charanaravinda. At the lotus feet of Krishna. Aravind means Abhay Charanaravinda. At the lotus feet of Krishna, he is fearless. So Abhayam, fearlessness. Sattva Samshuddhi, purification of one's existence. Gyan, knowledge. Yoga, linking up. Vyavasthiti, in situation. Danam, charity. Dama, controlling the mind. Cha and Yagya, performance of sacrifice. Swadhyaya, study of the Vedic literature. Tapa, austerity. Arjavam, simplicity. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satyam, truthfulness. Akrodha, freedom from anger. अपने पास क्रोध है. कृष्णा अक्रोध के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. त्याग, renunciation. Shanti, tranquility. Apaishunam, aversion to fault finding. Daya, mercy. Bhuteshu, towards all living entities. Alobluktvam, freedom from greed. Lolya means greed. Alobluktvam, freedom from greed. Mardavam, gentleness. Hri, modesty. Achapalam, determination. Teja, valor. Shama, forgiveness. Dhriti, fortitude. Saucham, cleanliness. Adroha, freedom from envy. Ati manita, expectation of honor. Na ati manita, no expectation from honor. Bhavanti are sampadam, the qualities. Daivim, of transcendental nature. Abhijatasya, of one who is born of Bharata, O son of Bharat, O son of Kundi. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control. Someone can count, huh? वापस से शुरू करते हैं. Count. Fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, sorry, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, freedom from envy and from the passion of honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. How many qualities? Come on यार, तुम लोग एक भी इसमें भी वो पूरा consensus नहीं है. This is Kalyug. There can never be consensus on anything. This was so easy to do. 24 भी आ गया अभी. Useless. Prabhupada's purport. In the beginning of the 15th chapter, I'm reading for all of you, by the way. ध्यान दो. The banyan tree of this material world was explained. Now, who can explain to me the banyan tree of the material world? Yes. Oh, very good. 3 people. Very nice. Yes. Hmm. 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 And what does it represent? What does it represent? It's upside down, right? Upside down from what? From the spiritual world. So what does it represent? Material world, right? The material nature. You want to add something? Hmm. So to understand that whatever we are experiencing in this material world is the perverted reflection of something which is pure, which exists in the spiritual world. Like, can you give me some example of this? Yeah. Here goes. So obviously, when you see a reflection, you're not going to go for the reflection. Whenever there's a reflection, what do you understand? Whenever we see a reflection, what do we also understand? What else is there apart from the reflection? The original object, due to which there is a reflection. Now, when you see a mango tree example which he gave, now will you go after the mango on the reflection or on the tree? If you go after the mango on the reflection in the water, what will happen? Will you get a mango? What will you get? Wet. You get wet. You get frustrated. अरे क्या यार, मैंगो भी नहीं मिला, उसके ऊपर ये सब मिल गया, पूरा मोबाइल गीला हो गया, 200 रुपए बचे थे वो भी गीले हो गए, हेयर स्टाइल बिगड़ गया. So when we are looking for respect in the material world, when we are looking for happiness in the material world, when we are looking for love in this material world, when we are looking for comfort, when we are looking for satisfaction, we are actually looking for it in the reflection. We are looking for it here, whereas it actually exists, but it exists in spiritual circles. It exists in the spiritual world, or it exists when we uplift our platform from purely being on the bodily platform to finally understanding my real identity as a servant of Krishna. So, the reason for Krishna mentioning all that in in the previous chapter is to make us understand that हम गलत जगह पे ढूंढ रहे हैं. We're looking at it in the wrong place. Sometimes if you remember your old maths days, you're trying to solve a question in a certain way and you're not getting it. Sir tells you, तेरा वो first step में ही तू गलत direction में सोच रहा है, तू ये direction में सोच, तो तेरे को मस्त answer सही मिलेगा. Right? You're looking at it in the wrong place. Yeah, if someone does a treasure hunt and they get clues, based on those clues they know that whether they're in the right. So here Krishna is giving us this clue that through this analogy of the inverted banyan tree, that whatever we want is good, but we're looking at it in the wrong way. We're looking at it in the wrong place. And therefore, when we look for love, we get disappointed. We look for companionship, we get heartbroken. We look for respect, we don't get it. We look for satisfaction, every now and then we become dissatisfied. If we're looking for satisfaction in a sports team's performance, which is not in our control, if you're looking for satisfaction in the stock market's performance, which is not in our control, if you're looking for satisfaction in others' opinion of us, which is not in our control, our own mind is not in our control, how will we be satisfied? But if we look for satisfaction in service to Krishna, satisfied. So the whole purpose of that chapter is for us to understand अपना पहले step पे ही right होना चाहिए, and then all of this is possible, right? So that was this 15th chapter. Prabhupada mentions that in first line. The extra roots coming out of it were compared to the activities of living entities, some auspicious, some inauspicious. In the ninth chapter of the also, the devas or godly and the asuras or ungodly or demons were explained. Now, according to Vedic rites, activities in the mode of goodness are considered auspicious for progress on the path of liberation, and such activities are known as Daivi Prakriti, transcendental by nature. Those who are situated in the transcendental nature make progress on the path of liberation. For those who are acting in the mode of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, there is no possibility of liberation. Either they will have to remain in this material world as human beings, or they will descend among the species of animals or lower life forms. In this 16th chapter, the Lord explains both the transcendental nature and its attendant qualities and the demoniac nature and its qualities. He also explains the advantages and disadvantages of these qualities. Now, you all take a minute and you think of one good quality that if it comes in you, it will help you in your life, material life, and one bad quality that you have, which if you remove from your life will become better. All of you think one good quality. अभी इसीलिए गुड क्वालिटी सब पढ़ लिए हम लोग, एटलीस्ट मालूम है ये सब है गुड क्वालिटीज. पता नहीं था पहले, अभी पता है ये सब गुड क्वालिटीज है. One good quality, if you can develop it in your life will become better. And one not so good quality, which if you can get rid of, your life will be better. We won't ask you to share if you're not comfortable. है सबके पास? सोच लिया एक गुड क्वालिटी जो आना चाहिए, एक बैड क्वालिटी. Would anyone voluntarily like to share? One good quality that if it comes in your life will be better. Yes, Prabhu. Aversion to finding fault in others. How will that make your life better? Hmm. 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 That's a very good point. Ki when I'm looking at faults in others, I'm just terming them as useless people. And therefore, some good qualities that they have, I'm just blocking myself from that and not able to learn something good. और क्या दिक्कत आता है फॉल्ट फाइंडिंग से? हम फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाते हैं अल्टीमेटली तो, राइट? इट इज सो फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग बिकॉज देन वी फील ये इसमें भी ये गलती है, इसमें भी गलती है, इसमें भी गलती है, इसमें भी गलती है, इसमें भी गलती है, इसमें गलती है. All the 8 billion people have issues except me. Everyone who Brahma created except me has issues. Frustrating situation. So good. So if this feeling of fault finding is not there in us, we'll be peaceful. Any other bad quality? Yes. Hmm. Hmm. More like you may also be having those faults. Yeah, very true. And then we block ourselves from developing undeveloping those qualities because we feel we are right and it's everyone else. Any other not so good quality is? Hmm. 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 We don't remember. Very good. So the sense of I as the doer, I as the achiever, I as the center of the world. If that if that can reduce in our life, actually, if that can reduce, then that's like the most difficult thing to. Fault finding भी हम कम कर सकते हैं. But this, it is such strong nature in us that I am the center of the world. I may be a lukha, but I will feel I am the center of the world. लोग डेमीगॉड्स भी उठ के देख रहे हैं क्या वो क्या कर रहा है वो, like that. So that is a very liberating feeling. If that is not there, if I don't think that I am controlling everything, and then it's a good thing. Yes. What else? Some bad quality which you would want to get rid of? And I'll just remind you, 19 of you said that you have demoniac qualities in you. So there should be more interaction here. Okay? How is that bad? Any one thing. Yeah. Too many things. Very good. So trying to do too many things, trying to think that I'm good at so many things and actually not being able to do anything properly. Rather than that, focusing. Like for example, we have all developed the art of multitasking while chanting. We have become expert at utilization of our left hand. Brahma is thinking कि अरे यार ये लोग जो devotees जितना अपना left hand use करते हैं कोई नहीं use करता है उतना. That with our left hand we've learned how to type WhatsApp messages, write emails, cook, comb our hair, drive a car, drive a bike, everything. We've learned to do everything with our left hand because our right hand is busy while chanting. वही तो time है ना, free time. So multitasking. All right, good. What else? Some bad quality in you that you want to give up? Yes, greed. नहीं, that's unsatiable greed. We always think वो पेप्सी का था ना ये दिल मांगे more. So that's the human being's tendency. We want more, and then we will always think, like even now, some of you may be thinking that I have completely convinced that जिंदगी में भक्ति करना है और प्रभुपाद की सेवा करनी है, कृष्णा की सेवा. I'm completely convinced with it. Maybe when I earn 2 crores, then I will peacefully give up. बस 2 करोड़ हो जाएगा उसे करने की जरूरत नहीं है. 2 करोड़ से सब कुछ अच्छे से चलेगा. पीसफुली आई विल सर्व. और वो आ जाएगा 2 करोड़. प्रभु आई हैव अ प्लान फुल 15 साल मैक्सिमम. बाय 35 आई एम गोइंग टू बी लाइक यू. Now there are so many issues with that. Even if all of that achieves, when you get the 2 crores, now you've got a taste for it, and now suddenly with those 2 crores you've got a lifestyle, and then that is endless. Then to maintain it, and then to grow it, and then now you've got a circle around you who are not going to stop at 2 crores, and then you think that बेइज्जती हो जाएगी थोड़ी कर सकते हैं, and life is over. So greed is endless. Greed is a good quality if it is used in spiritual life. I want to hear more. I want to read more. I want to serve more. I want to, just give me more. That was also a tagline of something. Ever ready, I think. Give me more. So give me more. Otherwise, materially, greed is endless. The Forbes billionaire list. Those guys should retire long time back. वो लोग के बच्चे जो 7-8 साल के, they should also retire. करना ही नहीं है, क्यों करूं, इतना है क्या करूंगा उसका. No. The richest man in India is just busy opening more and more businesses. The richest man in the world is just busy doing more and more. Greed is endless. What other quality would you not want? Anything which is not yet done? अभी क्या किया हम लोग ने? Fault finding, ego, greed, multitasking. What else? Yes, Saurabh Prabhu. Anger. Why is it bad? So anger leads to frustration. Anyone here gets angry? Four people, five people, six, seven, eight. Okay. गुस्सा आने के बाद who's the one who feels bad? The person who was angry, right? Who feels frustrated? The person who was angry. So if we can somehow get rid of this anger, a lot of our problems will be solved. If we can get rid of this greed mentality, a lot of our problems will be solved. What else? You wanted to say something? Any other bad quality which you don't want? Yes. Okay. The desire to want to get approvals from people कि यार वो खुश है ना मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, वो उसका क्या ओपिनियन था मेरे बारे में, वो लोग क्या सोचेंगे मेरे बारे में, कितने लाइक्स मिले या कितने लोग मुझे मेरा टी शर्ट लोगों को पसंद क्या, हाउ एम आई लुकिंग एंड ऑल दैट, दैट्स गुड. यस. Not being decisive, that can come in like an obstacle even in our spiritual life. We're not really sure of what to do in life and we are not clear about what to do. So indecisiveness. Yeah, so many bad. Yeah, last one. Doubt about. Okay, very good. Lack of faith in Krishna. Lack of faith that Krishna is actually maintaining me. It's इतना हमारा strong identity है with ourselves that we actually think कि मेरे वजह से सब कुछ हो रहा है अच्छा. Lack of faith that actually if Krishna wants in 1 second I can be finished. Uh, and there have been so many events in the world to prove that how with one event somebody lost everything. With one event somebody who was super rich is now on the road. Or one death in a family and the guy who was running the show is not there and बाकी सबका एक दो generation में सब खत्म हो जाता है. Right? So many such examples. Anything can happen like that. We don't have faith that actually Krishna is running the show. That our education system has been such where science has given us a material alternative to everything that we feel that we have to have a certain lifestyle and we don't feel that ultimately Bhagwan there. Krishna ke sanction ke bina nothing can happen. Not a blade of grass can move without the sanction of the Lord. And that faith, if we have, that Krishna is ultimately the doer, that Krishna is under control of everything. And if I just serve him, why will he not take care of me? That faith uh, is, if it's there, like Prabhupada says, faith can move mountains. A devotee can do anything. Okay, so these were bad qualities. Some good qualities that, if they come in us, will help us. All of them. Sab chahiye. There should be some greed to get all these good qualities. So now let's discuss the first one that Prabhupada says. We are in, okay, so that second chapter, second paragraph is all right. Third paragraph, yeah, fourth paragraph. This is the, Prabhupada is talking about the first good quality, which was abhayam. Abhayam, fearlessness. Prabhupada writes, in the Varnashram institution, the sannyasi or the person in the renounced order of life is considered to be the head or spiritual master of all the social statuses and orders. A Brahmana is considered to be the spiritual master of the three other sections of a society, namely the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. But a sannyasi who is on top of the institution is considered to be the spiritual master of the Brahmanas also. For a sannyasi, the first qualification should be fearlessness. Abhayam. Because a sannyasi has to be alone without any support or guarantee of support, he has simply to depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one thinks, after I leave my connections, who will protect me? He should not accept the renounced order of life. One must be fully convinced that Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his localized aspect as Paramatma, is always within, that he is seeing everything, and he always knows what one intends to do. One must thus have firm conviction that Krishna as Paramatma will take care of a soul surrendered to him. I shall be never alone, one should think. Even if I live in the darkest regions of a forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna and he will give me all protection. That conviction is called abhayam, fearlessness. This state of mind is necessary for a person in the renounced order of life. So, Srila Prabhupada is basically here, he's mentioning that here he's comparing it to a renounced order of life. That a sannyasi should be fearless, thinking that Krishna is there. But can we also apply this in our life? As a student, as a working professional, as all of you in your 20s and teenagers or early 30s, we can apply this in our life. Will this help us in our spiritual life? Having firm faith that Krishna is there in my heart. We, at least in theory, we can accept. Who are we? Soul. And then along with the soul, who else is residing? Super soul. Super soul is also called as what? Paramatma. Paramatma. And that super soul is Krishna. Right? Karanodakshai Vishnu, he enters into the heart. So, he is observing everything. We can hide things from everyone else. We cannot hide things from one person, Krishna. He knows what's in our mind. Sometimes we may not know what's in our mind, but Krishna knows. As someone said, no, we have conviction nahi hai. We are indecisive. So we may be indecisive, but Krishna knows, भाई तू ये सोच रहा है और तूने लास्ट टाइम भी ऐसे ऐसे ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है तेरा और आगे जाके भी तू उसी डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है मुझे पता है यू डोंट नो so Krishna knows us better than we know ourselves therefore even from a physical proximity who is the closest to us कि वो हार्ट के अंदर ही है even if you think that your mother is the closest to you she's still outside right next to you is sitting Krishna is sitting right next to us have we found Krishna in our heart only in this life इसके पहले भी थे how many lives was Krishna with you all the lives all the lives Krishna is there with us life after life Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshi Arjuna tishtati Krishna is telling Arjuna I am seated in the heart of every living entity now we all have taken a birth before this not clear hai? Whatever life it was Krishna was there in our heart even then so actually even before we have known our parents Krishna has been with us our parents are this life's parents like the example of Chitraketu when he has a son he wanted a son and he was just not getting a son and so finally one of the sages I think Angira Rishi अभी इतने सारे sages हैं और उनके अच्छे अच्छे इतने नाम हैं कि कभी कभी हम लोग कंफ्यूज कर लेते हैं and the audience also is clueless so we get away with it also that Rishi is thinking अरे मैं नहीं था यार वो था आने दे इसको ऊपर जब ये आएगा ना 2-3 लाइफ टाइम बाद से टीचर है तेरे को मालूम तो होना चाहिए ना कौन क्या था so he gave him something which when he gave his wife they had and then when boy was born he told him to name him Harsha Shok so and after a while all the other wives became very jealous of this one wife because of whom a child was born and the king obviously became more affectionate to that wife all the other wives are plotting ये क्या करना चाहिए पहले तो हमारे सबके साथ इक्वल थे अभी उसको ज्यादा टाइम देते हैं क्योंकि उसको बच्चा हुआ हमको नहीं हो रहा है so they thought बच्चा is the problem मार देते हैं उसको so they poisoned the child died there was Harsh earlier very happy now there's Shok because the child is all destroyed so the king is crying he's in terrible agony the everyone is upset crying especially the king and I think Narad Muni came or Angira Muni, one of them came, brought the child back to life. Child got up, he's sitting, and he said, "Look, your father is crying over there." And the child says, "Which father?" Your father. Which father of mine? I have had so many lives. In each life, I had a different father. Which one of them is crying now? And that Chitraketu was like, oh, chapter Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, practical. Practicals. We have theory knowledge, it's practicals. Oh, yeah, I'm not the only father. He's got so many. Similarly, he's not my only son. I had so many. Why is there no affection there? We don't remember. हमें याद नहीं है, इसीलिए नहीं है. अभी अगर आपको suddenly you remember, like for example, how old are you? 22. And suddenly he remembers that 24 years back, वो थे तुम्हारे father. And for some weird reason, suppose, in his previous life, he died very young. So that father is still there. Maybe he's 80 years old, but वो है. Now you get full memory of that. And now you're like, हाँ, आप भी मेरे पिताजी हो, पर वो भी है. और वो भी है. फिर और याद दिलाएंगे, उनके फोटोज दिखाएंगे, उसके पहले ये था, उसके पहले ये था, सबका श्राद्ध करो, सबका ये पालन करो, सबके फोटो को अगरबत्ती दिखाओ. And now affection keeps growing, 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 growing. And here the scriptures tell us, but all along with all those were just, one life ke fathers, mothers. There's someone who's been there from the beginning, who's always been there, who continues to be there. When I was a dog with my dog father, there was Krishna. When I was a worm with my worm father, there was Krishna. When I was a boy in that body, there was Krishna. Now I am 22 years with this father and mother, there's Krishna. And Krishna is the constant. That means Krishna never left me. By circumstances, I had to leave my father and mother, or by circumstances, they had to leave me. Logically, what will happen? Eventually, our parents will leave. They'll leave their body. Yes? If logic holds true and we don't die before them, they will die. Krishna willing, that doesn't happen to anyone anytime soon, but later on, that is a reality of life. They'll leave us. Like Prabhupada has penned this beautiful poem when he was alone in Vrindavan. He writes that my father was so affectionate to me, my mother was so affectionate to me, my uncles, and he writes, and he says, where are they now? They are just a list of names. Just a list of names. Where are they now? Can they help me now? I'm alone, I'm helpless. Where is my father? He can't help me now. Because it's not there. It's just a list of names and a photograph. Now, in our case, maybe some videos. That's it. And memories. Just memories. They can't help us now. But there is Krishna who's seated in our heart, who's always been there, who will always be there. When we leave this body also, He's the only one who will go with us. This body will be left behind. He's the only one who will come with us. Now, if Krishna has always been there, when we were in our mother's womb, yesterday I went to a Gujarati devotee's place. And so, in summer, if you go to a Gujarati's house, you will get amras and puri. And if you overindulge, then you'll have a coarse throat next day. So, what were we saying? No, uske pehle. Just before amras. The only one who just a list of names. Uske baad we said that Krishna is the only constant. He's there with us. When we enter our mother's womb, at that time even our mother cannot feed us. Right? She can feed herself. And then science tells her, "Tu kha, usko milega." How is that happening? How is that happening? Suddenly an entity is there in her stomach and something is attached to her blood that he or she is getting nourishment, which no doctor even knows how it happens. They know technically. Umbilical cord आता है, उसमें से आपको वो, पर होता कैसे? Can you do it outside? अभी वो बच्चा बाहर आएगा, can you redo it? मेरे को बहुत बोर हो रहा है उसको खिलाने को, वापस वो अटैच कर दो ना तो चलते रहेगा, वैसे उसको रखूंगी बगल में, वैसे भी छोड़ता नहीं है मेरे को कभी भी, तो चलते रहेगा। दोबारा खिलाना पड़ता है मुंह से, ऐसे ऐसे स्पून को ऐसे खा ले खा ले खा ले, ऐसे करना पड़ता है, बनाना पड़ता है अलग से, अटैच कर दो वापस। कैन दे डू इट? नो। कृष्णा अरेंज्ड इट for 9 months. He didn't allow us to starve even 1 second. 9 months when we were just some mass with a soul. Soul entered, and then mass starts to come, and then things develop. Krishna took care of us. There was no need of fearlessness or fear at that time. Then when we came out, at that time immediately there's milk in our mother's breast. The doctor didn't inject it. The doctors don't know how it comes. It's coming. And that's the only thing a baby can digest at that age. Till 6-7 months, the child cannot digest anything else. जो सेरेलैक भी बनता है, that is based on the formula of mother's milk. और उससे वो लोग ने सेरेलैक बनाया है, whatever else you must have eaten. Amras. Definitely didn't eat amras in the first 6 months. So that's derived from a formula which the doctors cannot create. They took Krishna's formula and they replicated it. Krishna provided. Krishna provided. So if Krishna was there all these lives, you see behind a lizard over there. There is this great sage, Sridhar Swami. He never wanted to get married, but somehow family arranged, shadi ho gayi. And then after some time only he thought that, why am I in family life? I want to just renounce my life and serve God. Why am I stuck here? So he approached his wife. वो ये 1000 साल पुरानी स्टोरी है. So women were supportive. They are still supportive. This goes online. Women are very much supportive. You have to be very careful. Offline, you can speak. You know the audience. You know in what context they know you. Once it goes in the online universe, it's gone. Someone will just take a 10-second clip of this and say, "देखो ISKCON वाले क्या बोलते हैं." But so he approached his wife and he told her that, please, I didn't want to get married. It's nothing about you, but I really want to serve God. And I don't want to get into this family samsar of family life. So she told him, yeah, okay, I will support you fully. You go. Just give me one child. And then you go. And so that I will have someone. Otherwise, I'll be all alone. I can't go back to my father's house. So, yes, I said, fair enough. She was pregnant. In childbirth, she died. While giving birth, पहले होता था ना बहुत. In childbirth, she died. Now he's standing there with a baby in his arms, and now he's thinking, I had a child with her because she wanted to allow me to leave after that. Now she has only left, and I'm now with a child. There's no way I can take sannyas now. What will I do? I'm stuck. At least till he's 25 years old, I'm stuck. Next 25 years. Then he looked up. He saw a lizard. And the lizard gave birth. He saw this baby lizard is just born. And now he's just observing, thinking about his situation, just observing that baby lizard. And in 5 seconds of the baby lizard coming out, the baby lizard's tongue comes out, and there's a mosquito. Khach, mosquito kha liya andar, and he ate it. Baby. 5-6 seconds ke baad. And then a realization comes to him. I am not the one who's going to take care of this child. Krishna is already doing it. वो कौन सा माँ लिजर्ड ने वो बेबी लिजर्ड को सिखाया, बेटा ऐसे टंग खोलो, वो है, वो हमारा खाना है, पनीर बटर मसाला, और आमरस है वो मच्छर, और उसको खाओ. आज शायद से पनीर बटर मसाला भी है. आमरस आमरस नहीं है, सॉरी. So this is how you're supposed to eat, like how our mother must have taught us, बेटा मुंह खोल, ये ले स्पून, इसको अंदर डाल, अभी चबा. And he's thinking that lizard definitely didn't teach. It's just been 5 seconds. Intuitively, this fellow knows how to take care of himself. There is food in his quota, and Krishna is providing it. And he took not to be tried at home. Definitely not. And we don't recommend it for people online. He took the baby, made a nice basket outside his home, put a nice chadar, pillow, everything, kept the baby, and left home. And as soon as he walked from the lane this side, from the other side, a couple came who were desperately trying to have a child but were not able to have a child. And now they see this newborn, cute little baby is sitting in that basket with a pillow and everything. And they look here, they look there, they look inside the house, no one is there. They shout, "Ye kiska hai?" No one answers. And they say, "Dekho, Bhagwan ne hame provide kiya." They take the baby and they raise the child lovingly. So Krishna has made an arrangement for everybody. This does not mean we should uh, immaturely leave our responsibilities and run away. What this means is there is no